I need everybody to get ready. We about to be bringing them on to the keys to the bag. Hey, this your boy, your host, Don P, the gentleman. We got Prince Fantasy. We got Cat DC. Hey, we're the original exoticpreneurs. Welcome. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the Keys to the Bag show, where our whole goal is to give you the tips, techniques from the experience from the original exoticpreneurs. That is Don P, the gentleman. That is Mr. Prince. That is Cat DC. Welcome, everybody.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, man, it's all good. And I just want to first thank you for tapping in. You know, we are now officially in episode 3, and we got a doozy for you. You feel me? You know, so hey, man, I like to always give us a little precursor. The things that you hear here is from real nigga shit, and yes, we are cursed. We're not all the way. Not all the way.
Okay.
We only
get just a little bit, just little stuff.
We could do we could do an F-bomb and we could do a shit.
Okay.
No B's. No B's.
We can do an F-bomb. Okay.
We can do an F-bomb. We can do it. We can do shit. We get just know it. No B's. No B's. No MFs. That's a push one because we all know about that. Hey, so because there are, I mean, we all know that this is not family friendly, but we want to get picked up with the right folks. So shameless plug, we're gonna be on Revolt. So if y'all know somebody in the plug on the Revolt, tap in. Let's get it in. You feel me? Hey, we up and stuck. How's your weekend been?
You know, ladies first.
Ladies first.
Let's switch it around. Weekend's been wonderful. You know, well, I'm in South Carolina, so it's warm, and I live like 45 minutes from the beach, so the weather is really good. It's gorgeous down here.
Fancy, ain't she?
That's not fancy.
I'm only a few minutes from the beach.
Well, y'all know I like it. Well, yeah, I like it. How the weather's it's beautiful down here. How's everything in Michigan, y'all?
Everything good. I mean, I had an awesome weekend. Weekend was like my eyes still trying to open up from past this weekend. Like that's how serious it was. But no complaints.
Hey, look, the blessings is always staying the blessings. You feel me? You know, I mean, we had a good weather. I had some great photo shoots. We was able to get this Defined by Purpose tapped in. So make sure y'all get that bad boy.
Okay.
Get that bad boy.
Hey,
you dig? I want to, we definitely gonna have to hit this quick, just tap that bad boy in here for a free coaching call. If you ready. All right, so with that being said, hey, look, so this topic has been the number one conversation since I first started the Exoticpreneur show a year ago, and it was all about kings and queens. So it was only right that I bring it back, but bringing it back in the proper context for this content, and that's kings, queens, and concubines. Okay, and in so many ways I'm going to attack this mess. In so many ways we can really attack this one. So let's give it a sense. So we want to keep it in the context of what it was all about. You know, Kings and Queens ran the show. That was all about the marriage game. But there was also a third entity in that space, which was the concubine. Now, their role, because it was a male concubine and female concubine, their role was to service the kings and the queens in all their things, in all their spaces. It doesn't matter if it was physical, mental, spiritual, emotional. Their job was to cater to the kings and queen of the time to keep the balance. Where, since we worked in the exotic entertainment industry, you know, we was considered the concubines in that space. So if we was to take it back and put it referral, that was our role, was to service the kings and queens in the regular world. Now, since then, we have become our own bosses. We have now, we are the masters of attraction marketing as a whole. So if you're looking to get your classes, make sure you go to keystothebagcourses.com, where you can register yourself for the coming soon of Mastering Attraction Marketing, taught by yours truly, Mr. Prince. He is the man on the attraction game.
Yes.
And it's going to be like this boy go through some stuff. Like his brain is like he got that attraction marketing down. And Cat DC is going to be giving you the keys to the bag on longevity, on the styles, on the presentation, on the little techniques. I'm the nerd, as y'all can tell. I'm the nerd, so I'm going to give you the technical aspects of making it all work and putting it all together, and that's ripping up the recipe and making it happen. So when y'all get this, when y'all see this, make sure y'all register yourself for the digital course coming, keys to the bag courses.com, and make sure y'all let me do it the right way. Make sure y'all do it like this. That part. Make sure y'all subscribe right there. We back. All right. So now that we got that all officially out the way, Kings, Queens, and Concubines. Prince, take it away. You're the king of this show, and we're going to talk about this on a couple levels. So the first level that most people get into is on a relationship tip, and that's threesomes.
Yes, sir.
In the game. Now,
yeah,
I enjoyed mine. I don't say I didn't have. I enjoyed all of mine. They was quite excited. So, yeah, you are Mr. Prince Fantasy.
Yeah, I go by Mr. Prince Fantasy. I'm Mr. One Hell of a Guy for sure.
That part. If you don't know, let me let y'all know exactly how to follow him. Follow him at Mr.
HELLAVAGUY. Yes, part. I am the king of that. I have no complaints. Let's get this all straight. I have no complaints whatsoever what I have done in my past, with women. And it was quite lovely. It was very fun. It was like, what's the word I'm looking for? Amazing. But at the same time, it's like when you first sort of like, as being a male exotic entertainer, you hear the stories like, you might have 3 women, you might have 2 women, this and third. It's like, it's a fantasy. So every guy, even if you're not a male dancer, they fantasies have 2 or 3 women at one time. But when you actually step in that room with 2 or 3 women, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, it's really going down now, Mm-hmm. And you gotta think about this too. Your reputation is on the line as a man, not just as an entertainer, as a man. So when you got like 2 beautiful women, you gotta be ready to put in work. You can't come in there with like low self-esteem. By the way, get the vitamins. You know what I'm saying? Got to get your endurance up. You feel me?
That part.
And you gotta have your stamina game together, like for real. Because if you wimp out, that's your name on the line. So, like I said, I have no complaints whatsoever. It was beautiful scenery and a good time. He just put me on blast. Lord Jesus.
He sure did.
I wasn't ready.
Well, Prince, do you think that it's easier because you are a male entertainer to actually be able to do certain things and not have the same type of backlash as a female entertainer may have if she were to do the same thing?
Yes, I believe it's easier because as me being a male, nowadays, the new century and the new era, a lot of females like females. So it's like,
right.
They come to you like, hey, we want you. You're like, you want me?
Mm-hmm.
Why me? You know what? I ain't going to ask. What's up? But like when it comes to females and males, yes, it's a little bit different because women get slaughtered when it comes to guys like, oh, we ran a train on her, this and the third. Even though this might be her fantasy of having 2 guys.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it. Hey, everybody has a fetish. Everybody has a fantasy they want to live out in real life. And I don't look at it the same way everybody else do because, of course, we are entertainers. We in a different world, a different headspace. But yes, it's a little bit different in my perspective.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about probably about 8 years ago when Zane was doing Sex Chronicles.
Okay.
I was able to do some intern work with her in Landover, Maryland. And I remember that one of the main things that even with her being an erotic writer and
Mm-hmm.
being the producer and working on the show, it was still so much stigma attached to it, even in her realm with being this best-selling author. And we all know that Zane taps into, women sexual fantasies and stuff like that or whatever. And I
Correct.
remember that it was, even though her books and everything that she did was so mainstream to a certain degree, especially in our community,
Mhm.
I remember that her content was at the time only able to be shown on Cinemax and late night. And it was like, I don't know if you remember, if you were able, because they had like mainstream actors actually that was on her show.
Oh, most certainly.
Yeah, she had like a couple of mainstream actors on her show, but they were still trying to compare it to porn. So even when it's done from a professional perspective by a woman, I think that it's still a major stigma attached to it. And I think that in probably maybe the past few years, it's gotten a little less, I'm saying, judgmental,
Yeah.
but I think that it's still a huge taboo for women. So, what do you think?
I think it is. I think the only people that actually get away with it is swingers. Like seriously.
Exactly. Exactly.
Other than that, even in our entertainment, it's like, okay, a woman could be doing her thing. She might have a couple. It could be a man and a woman. That's cool. It's fine and dandy. But when it comes to a woman saying, all right, I want these two guys, now it's a label being placed upon her. But the
Yes.
thing is, like I used to tell guys, like, how would you look at a woman like this saying we did this to a woman? But when a woman do you like that, it's basically the same thing. What's the difference? But
Mm-hmm.
see, because it's a female instead of a male, it's like you being judged. When
Yes,
actually
very much so.
you got to make it make sense. It's the same thing. You're just playing two different roles. So you got two females,
Mm-hmm.
or she got two males. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
still feeling somebody's fantasy. That's how I look at it from my point of view.
Yeah, because I was thinking about the swingers thing because when we had done Real Sex, Miss Black Nude, we were at Hedonism in Jamaica, and they had to have certain places and even Jamaica resorts that are just for for swingers and stuff like that or whatever, because it's still so taboo, like they can't be themselves. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't know, like I said, I think maybe in the past few years people have loosened up a little bit their mindset about it. I guess because because of TV and different things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's much easier for men still
It is. It
than it
is.
is for women, and especially and for female entertainers, because there's a triple standard when it comes to
Mm.
us. I feel as though well, we'll get back to that. Don, what do you think?
Well, it's great that y'all we get in there. So now I come from the point of view as business. So when I was in the game and I was having my conversations with women that was open to having a threesome with me, there was also a space of this was a business transaction, but not in the business as in we're doing business money, I'm paying you and all that stuff. No, I want to make sure that's clear. We ain't doing that. Instead, that's 100% legal, y'all. Y'all know it's legal. But there's the moment of I was creating what you call a business partnership where that I needed people in my space that I can trust because I'm running the show. So there was an energy that I needed a left hand and a right hand. One person that was running my administrative side and one part that was running my marketing side. And that combination was a business structure. And because the women around me were they were open with their sexuality, but they also had a good head on their shoulders as good thinkers, and because of that, how our connection was we was going to be a tag team situation, literally, figuratively, in everything. So my goal, which worked out perfectly, was that I had someone that helped me think as well as help me explore. and because they were into each other when the conversations became compatible, so they was able to get along, which took a lot of stress off of me at times.
I have a question. So, do you see the fireworks? It was like a volcano.
Whew. It was. I was asleep. I was out the picture like not long. They put me out the picture quick.
So you should have had your vitamins.
I didn't have it then. I had it now.
There you go.
So the thing is that I found, and I just got hip to this. So there's a thing called poly, and that has been an open a polyamorous relationship. Now I am new to it, but I learned in the industry that's very common, that the relationships are now being more polygamous instead of mono. And I know
where that must be up there because they showing them not here in South Carolina.
Well, if I remember correctly, there was couples that always would pick them up, and they had a girlfriend experience or a mistress experience, but it was never like a relationship. Like up here, in a lot of areas, mine was a business relationship. So we was doing business and we had relationships with it. So it was a trust thing. It was a close knit situation. It's like when you open your business, you got the founder CEO, you got the CFO, and then you got the vice president, and those three helped ran the whole company. So I applied that same logic in my relationships. Now, of course, I'm going to get some backlash from this. I'll prepare.
Teamwork make the dream work, as you would say.
It was always a team effect, because 3 heads are better than 1 in a lot of ways. 2 heads are still good, but 3 is better. All right, don't judge me, god dang it. Look.
Well, you know what? You know what's good is because I can speak from the perspective of I've never had one, but I respect the polygamous mindset as far as when you're dealing with building legacies and money. So with that, I can understand people's perspective on that. But I think that what people also have to understand, because I do have a lot of friends from other cultures, Africans and different stuff like that or whatever. So in their culture, if they're at a certain economic level, they legally can have numerous, you know what I'm saying, wives. I mean, there's no problem with that. And my personal thing about that is I don't personally see anything wrong with that either. If you see, most people look at it from a perspective of the sexual thing or the freakiness or whatever. They're not looking at it completely from a business standpoint of what financially you can achieve from having situations where you have multiple people contributing to one household. I think that it's a cultural thing, because in most other cultures, it's not that big of an issue. But I think that if you take the stigma of the sexuality out of it and you look at it from a business perspective, I don't think a lot of women would have an issue with it, because let's be for real, a lot of us are in polygamous relationships anyway. They just not open about it. Like, yeah, especially if you're dealing with a man that's on a certain economic level anyway. They have majority of the time, they'll have other relationships. I think it can be better so that they don't have to feel like they have to hide what they're doing. So I don't have an issue with that. I have an issue when you're doing it to a point where you just feel like you're trying to exploit people. But if you have a group of people where everybody in agreement. And they know, I think it can be a great thing. I think especially it can be a great thing for women also, because it takes a lot of the stress off of you. Like, people don't have to feel like they run around here lying and pretending, whatever. Like, it when you have men, when you're dealing with a man on a certain economic level, a lot of times they have different things that they need, or different aspects that they're looking for in a woman. And I feel as though if, as long as it's a respectful situation and everybody is comfortable with it, and it's a progressive situation for everyone, the children or everybody else that's involved, and they're okay with it, I don't think that that's a problem. I think actually it could work out in everybody's best interest.
It's great that you said that, because that actually led to my second question, which was, in most wealthy and rich spaces,
Yes.
and this is not uncommon, that the wife operates as the queen, the king, who is the, and let's be clear, we're not talking about just breadwinners. We're talking about lifestyles. We're talking about true kingdoms that are operating a full. We're not talking about, all right, first thing first, we're not talking about no six-figure earners. We're talking about people that are making.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah,
you exactly. In the six-figure range, you're not. That's standard living. That's the average standard living for most households that have more than a couple kids. So exactly. 2 kids, married wife. Look, this is not for y'all. This is for folks that have above normal income levels, and now there's a certain amount of responsibility, accountability that has to be addressed in the relationship on a physical end and on a mental end, that the queen is only going to be able to do so much. So I'm going to date back a little bit. So in the original episode of Kings and Queens, we explore the roles of a queen. Now, the roles of a true queen is the manager of the actual kingdom behind the scenes, not in the front, but in behind the scenes, meaning she kept the peace with her femininity, with her nurturing, with her ability to calm storms inside of the house, inside of the king house. Now, I don't want to take any context of women being a household person. No, I'm not. I want to be clear. It's the mechanism of maintaining a certain level of camaraderie or community in a chaotic area, because when you're in a household, kids are doing things. So your kids are your subjects in your kingdom. So if you're running a business, your employees are doing all kind of craziness. So you needed a manager or someone that they were cool with to actually confide and trust, but keep that nonsense off. So while the king is out protecting the kingdom from all the outside forces, the queen was doing her job, taking care of things on the inside forces, right? Then there was the concubine, which was their role was literally to keep the headaches from either going all the way up to the king, which now he's got to be distracted because now he has to run, or be able to stay in the confines of keeping the queen at privilege to certain informations of mutinies and all that stuff. It's just like chess.
Right.
When you're playing chess, you had set things set up a certain type of way, because the king is the most powerful player on the board, but the queen, is the most influential and influence area on the board. Without her, the king can't operate at his full capacity. So when you're in that space of being a king, a queen, or a concubine, you're in a position of power that can now dominate and run multi-million-dollar situations, but also be in this energy where that now you're in one of the most highly regarded positions, period. And a lot of people get it so twisted up in the act and not understanding the methods or the context behind it. Like, I can go into Bibles, I can go into other worlds, I can go into current history, I can go into previous history and pull out all of them had none of them was broke. Let's be fun. None of that it's not on some like, I just want to sow my wild oats and be messy. That's tacky, that's weak, that's poor. I want to be clear. But all of them had means to support each one, methods, because it wasn't about the physical, it was about the community, and there was a certain amount of release and sexual transmutation that has to be addressed. Then there's a lot of messages that had to be transferred, so the loyalty was actually controlled and managed in that space. And third, you ain't got time to be sitting here and being messy with everybody. That's where the mismanagement of the power going.
Can I say something about that? Actually, in our community, I feel as though we are reenacting that anyway. As humans, we just not getting no money for it. And what I mean by that, no, I'm serious. What I mean by that is this: when you have a situation where you have, okay, I'm gonna give a scenario. Say like if you have the dope boy that runs, you know what I'm saying, this particular area, and he has his main girl, and then he has the other girl. Everybody's running around telling everybody what's going on in the streets and the business and everything anyway. Only thing is they not run no kingdom, and everybody doing that for free. Everybody is around you is gossiping about what's going on in y'all situation or what's going on around this group of people anyway, because they're super popular, or because in their particular area or in their demographic, they're the ones that quote unquote have the money, et cetera, et cetera. So there's all the gossip, there's everything that's going on around them or with the mistresses and different stuff anyway. The only difference is that it's it's in compartments. Mm-hmm. If we're doing what they were doing back in those days in the kingdoms anyway, but it's broken apart so that nobody is completely benefiting from it. Mm-hmm. If y'all get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like now, because if it's so much drama and stigma that's attached to it, then there's division. Mm-hmm. If you got the girlfriend, the wife, etc., then you got all the few mistresses and stuff that they dealing with or whatever, and the girls are coming back and taking their emotional out of it, but coming back and letting the main two know what's going on around them to protect their situation. Mm-hmm. Then that's a power thing. Mm-hmm. But everybody's doing that anyway. They're just doing it for their own perspective, selfish reasons. You know what I mean? To keep stuff going on. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, Prince, I think you can kind of elaborate on that. Yeah, yes. If you can elaborate on that a little bit more.
So it's like this with me. I'm gonna go with Don P said. It's like chess. See, the thing is, I gotta rephrase for one thing, Don P, you said. It's not about the king, it's about the queen. Because this is the thing about the chessboard. On the chessboard, the king supposed to be protected. So we're giving his pieces as queen. Now, this is the thing you understand. On the chessboard, you have things called pawns. Mm-hmm. So when them pawns start getting sacrificed, when them pawns reach the other side of the chessboard, you can have two queens. Exactly. And they can run the whole chessboard. Mm-hmm. So by knowing that, the thing is, the queens is the temple. They get a man of peace. And that's the foundation. And at the same time, when you know that you're dealing with poly, it's up for you. If you messing up, you're supposed to come to this agreement table as you stated. Okay, we got to sit down and have this meeting. If I'm doing something wrong, because at the end of the day, I'm the face. So if I'm doing something wrong, that means it's targeting you guys as well. So how can we have clarity to these situations to have a better understanding of how we're going to live this lifestyle we're going to live and have peace the way we want to have peace at our own home? Godly wise, you want to always make sure that you're doing everything right. And you always got to have communication. When you have the communication, you build with financial wealth as well. And at the same time, you build and invest into each other to make everything feel good and better. And you critique it to a certain degree that nobody need to know about. Now, the second thing is, what I was going to state in the first thing, it's like a house. When you have a house, like, say a house is built in like 1980, we all know how houses is. You got the kitchen, it's going to be a wall. You got the dining room, it's going to be a wall. You're going to have the bathroom. Everything has walls in this house. 2022, you want an open concept. And that's what I said, just like Kat said, you got the mistress, you got the wife, you got the side chick, all that. So it's like an old 1980 house as a dope man. So by that, they mean everything has sections. But nowadays, when you deal with poly, everything is an open concept as a house. We should be able to sit down and convert about everything. They understand the topics that we're trying to do. Goals, investments, everything. It has to be understanding. It's not just, hey, you know what? Like a lot of guys, they get poly mixed up. And what they think about poly is, I can have 3 or 4 females in the house and I can do whatever I want to do. And I can tell them what to do. That's not poly. That's called pimping. You trying to be a pimp. That's not poly. Poly is we all have an agreement on what we are doing and we strategize. Pimping and poly, they both got a P, but they both 2 different things.
Completely different perspectives. Yes, you're right.
One's got profits, the other one's got prison. Real simple. You can keep it real simple. One's got the profits, one got the prison tagged all on it. And
as a woman, if you can get past your emotional,
I was about to go there.
It's actually to your benefit.
It's actually, it helps everybody.
It helps everybody.
It does, because like a lot of women, as I've met in my life, they like other women, but then they scared to lose the guy because they like, well, I don't want him to be with another woman. But you will want to be with a woman though. And the thing is, you have to work with self first. I tell anybody that if you feel a certain way, you got to learn how to love self. You got to have self-confidence in self. And without that, you won't have anything. Even dealing with guys, some of them want nurturers. Some guys, they want women around them, but at the same time, they still have mother problems. And so, you see what I'm saying? I'm going to target things that a lot of people ain't going to say. You know, I'm blunt. And the thing is, by you having so many women, you still don't know how to treat women the way how they're supposed to be as queens. And at the day, you want 2 or 3 of them, but at the same time, you're not getting a certain respect that they're supposed to have. And the thing is, like I tell guys, you want to get in poly and all this other stuff. I would never want to control a woman. The reason why, if I'm doing something wrong, how can you help me? You don't want a person to bring you down. You want some person to uplift you on every aspect, spiritual wise, financial wise, and loving self. And if you down and you putting her down where she don't have no type of control over her own self, what is she there for?
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing that you said that, because that part right there is actually, see, shout out to Prince for giving us sauce. You know what I'm saying? So this is the keys to the bag section, where that now we can get into more of the sauce, the stuff that really gets into things. So you said one thing that was very powerful, and that's a lot of men have mother issues. Have issues where that either the mother wasn't there, or she was real hard, or since the father didn't balance out the mother, it was a single parent household, and now they're dealing with a whole different type of anguish that they're trying to take out or make this woman a pseudo mother, and then multiple women because they enjoy being around feminine energy. Now, I'm a fan of being around feminine energy because it was a sense of peace around me. But yet, my mother was very hard-going and very aggressive and very domineering. So it took me a minute to understand the balance between masculine and feminine energy in regards to the roles of how to receive it. Then it took me back to a lesson that I read about feminine leaders in Africa and how they was able to take the dominant role and lead and run the show, like the Cleopatras, like the Nefertiti's of the world. That and there was other queens,
Queen of Sheba.
You know, there was other that literally ran the show, and they used their powers to actually keep things in order. And it was amazing to me how the men that became subservient to them also was able to, their businesses and their strategies grew. They became better tacticians. They became better Napoleon Bonaparte, because of Josephine, or became one of the best war tactics, and he was only 4'11". Because
you know what, now, P? Not to cut you off. I'm gonna tell you some real stuff. I love movies, right? And this is the best understanding I can give to anybody. When people see movies, they see Brad Pitt, they see Denzel Washington, all these actors and actresses, right? But the thing about it, who really makes the movies? It's the people behind the scenes. It's the person that's doing the makeup. It's the errand boy that went to go get the food. You know what I'm saying? The person that has to go get the clothes and everything. And it's the same thing like being a king back then, even now. And a lot of people don't know this. When they see a lot of people as males, it's a woman that's really behind them, or multiple women that's behind them, putting him in a place and making his decisions for him that people don't even know about. That's why I said he just a face. It's like having Fago. Who doing all the ingredients? Who doing all the labels? You know what I'm saying? Who doing the shipping? You gotta pay attention when you talk about these things on a different aspect.
Yeah. Like I prefer, but yet I'm here, and you know, because it's amazing that there's so many moving parts in that space. So you know, last episode we talked about mental health, and in this area, you know, the concubine in those times and that they do now, concubines serve as the pseudo psychiatrist for the kings and queens' mental health. That's a
because actually in a lot of places the queen actually picked the concubine for the husband. She was the one that selected the women, the best women that she felt could be for compatible. The king, compatible for herself and for the king.
Exactly.
Because
even I love what y'all said about that, and I always tell people this. Even in a poly relationship, if they try to do whatever, it should be the woman picking the other woman.
Exactly.
This is my main reason why. You could pick a woman right now and she feel like she could take your queen place. You know what I'm saying? And try to sabotage the whole relationship, and at the same time play a good role and get an Oscar for it. But I feel like it should be the woman pick the other women, because at the day you want to be compatible to that woman, and as long as she's compatible, you know your queen feel like she's satisfied. That means you're going to be satisfied because you know who you're dealing with.
And it's crazy. Now, I want to put this in some context. Now, we talked about the kings and queens, and we're talking about the concubines and how everybody's placed. Now, how does this apply to a regular, normal lifestyle? Like, why would you feel? And this is an open-ended question. Because we're gonna catch some flack for this. For those that it's gonna come at us with the biblical stuff, that's gonna come at us with the mismanagement of how the relationship energy is supposed to go. What is your basically response to that? So it says, oh, well, men is not supposed to have more than one woman. And what is the context of that?
I'm gonna let you go, okay?
Get him.
I feel it on your chest. I feel it on your chest, okay? Go ahead.
We got to go back to what we were saying in the beginning, Don. And this is something I say to guys also, because this was told to me from men that are from other cultures, that practice, that benefit from these situations that these men are looking at. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not talking about regular people with regular lifestyles. This is something people that usually are part of. We're talking about people that really have money, and we're talking about real money. We're talking millionaires, usually, because at the end of the day, you have to be able to afford this lifestyle. You have to be able to afford these women and be able to afford children, whatever goes with it. And the headaches, the dramas, and all of that, you have to be able. This is, yes, that was created for control in this country, for the working class person, so that when you have men that have multiple wives and all these children, these were people that were able to overthrow empires because they had built such a large community, a family. That is one of the reasons why that wasn't created because they care about your feelings as a woman or the emotional things attached to it. It was a method of control so that you would not be building these powerful legacies. And I'm gonna give you a prime example. Think about how Walmart and all these family built businesses were formed. Johnson. Also you have to Johnson, but you also think about this. The area where you have you all ever, it was a show that used to come on, I think it was HBO, called Big Love. And the man had three at the end of, by the end of the show, he had three different families, 3 wives or whatever. But this man damn near owned what would be considered a Walmart in Utah in his area. He was not a regular person, and this was a legacy of family and of wealth that he had, even though they had their dramas. But this was like Dallas or Dynasty type of situation. This would be yeah, but this would be as far as for our communities. The Johnsons, they used to own BT and different. These are the kind of people that you would be talking about as far Barry Gordy from back. I mean, I'm just throwing names out there of legacies that people would know of Quincy Jones and the level of money. I'm trying to equate a name that a person would be able to look and say, okay, what are y'all talking about? We're talking about Babyface, these type of economic levels. If you're talking about somebody now, the level, a Drake, someone like that, because now you're in a position to build situations that can be a threat to the power structure because of your finances. And more than likely, if you have people like that, they're going to mate or be with women that actually come from some form of money or wealth or power. If you, I'm gonna give y'all a prime example. If you go on Netflix, there's a show where there's a matchmaker from India, and they still practice the old ways, even though they're in this country. They still set up situations based upon the family's economics, you know what I'm saying? All of that. It's not, you're not allowed to select your own mate. Still, they run it the way their culture runs it, and it's based upon being able to build these powerful, you know what I'm saying, build power structures.
I feel you on that, because on a power structure note, like you said, I've seen, like I tell people all the time, like I've seen Canadians, I see, the Chinese, certain cultures, and it's like they could be in $1 million house right now, you know what I'm saying? And it's like 6 different families in one house. You look outside, you would think it's one person because how our mind's set up. When you're on like you said, it's levels to it. So if you just a working slavery type level, you're gonna say, oh, this guy got like 3 Lamborghinis, 2 Bentleys, in his driveway, not knowing that it's a real community inside that house.
It's a real community inside that house, exactly.
And like you said, the thing is, people don't understand, like, it's a slavery mindset, and people don't understand this because, like, no, you got to have one wife. You can't do this. You can't do that. You got to go to work every day. You got to work 16 hours, and you're making somebody else rich as well. So not even when it comes to catering to yours, you don't know how. And when people say that, they look at me crazy sometimes, like, what you mean by that? I'm like, it's man-made. This is what you fail to realize, it's man-made. I give you the best example I give anybody in the world. It used to be ingredients that people use that have been incarcerated, right? Refried beans, rice, sausages, Doritos, stuff like that. And when guys came home from prison, they'd like tell their family, like, I'm about to make a cook-up. And they're like, that's nasty. But then guess what happened? 4 years later, Taco Bell came out with a Dorito. They came out with a Cool Ranch, a regular, and it's all was cook-up food. And they made millions of dollars off of what people was doing on a slavery note and made it $1 billion business.
Exactly.
And that's how people don't understand, like, it's levels to things that you do. If you listen to the certain things that was taught, you'll never understand life. It's things that we might have been taught by our parents that we felt that was right because our parents taught us. But that's why they say do your own research. Your parents might want you to go to school, go to college, this and third, but now you sitting in debt, right? You got a degree, now you sitting in debt. Now you trying to pay back student loans and all these other things. But like us, we as entrepreneurs, we have to learn how to build up our own investments, learn how to build up our own financial growth, learn saying how we want to run our life as being in a household with our loved one or our significant loved ones. And the thing is, you'll never learn until you try to be self. That's how I look at it.
It's amazing. It's amazing that there's so many gems that we're trapping out now. we only got 15 minutes left, and it's like you get into a lot of key areas, a lot of things that has to be addressed, like mastering yourself. One of the things is that some people are not built for it. Now, I experienced that while I was in the game, but me as a man now, it's not nothing for me. I know me, I love me, but I also understand that I don't even have the mental capacity to deal with two emotional women at that space, because I did it. I've been there, done that. I enjoyed it, but I also understood the roles of it. And I was like, no, I'd rather run a business, but have a monogamous relationship with the one that wants to be able to balance me, because it's not about the sex at this point. It's not even about the thing. It's about the balance of just helping me release, even though I'm at a level where that she might invite others just for spice, but it's not necessary. Mm-hmm. You feel me? And there's relationships that put so much pressure on having a monogamous relationship where that they haven't even figured out if they was even built for a relationship at all. And then there's the space of breeding. Now, in money, there's breeding. And kings and queens, they were breeding. They were.
Yeah, because y'all know y'all don't even want to have that conversation with me, dog. You know how I feel about that.
Right. We ain't got time for that. So if y'all like this, if y'all in the comment below and see if y'all want to talk about that sauce, if y'all want some sauce in that chicken in regards to how the kings and queens, this was
because a lot of us do breeding, but we just don't know that we're doing breeding.
Right.
It just isn't politically correct, especially now in the climate that we live in now, to be so open about it, because people are very sensitive about certain things. But that's a definite. Because when you're dealing with things on a certain economic level, they may not say nothing to us about it. You know what I'm saying? But they actually definitely do.
And definitely it amazes me how we took on so much of. I'm not going to say that because I ain't about to get that controversial. I got other stuff to do.
Listen, you can take to courses. Make sure you tap in, get to courses. You get a little bit more deeper than that.
Yeah, exactly. If they take, please sign up for the course. We'll get really in depth and deep into that. But I'll give you something that'll make it a little more easier for you, Don. If you want to talk about the breeding situation, all you have to do is look at Hollywood, look at the music industry. I'm going to ask you one question. Do you think that these people, when they have children and their children become actors, do you think that these kids just come out genetically looking the way that they do because these people just decided to pick just anyone to have a child? And that's a whole nother segment. That's a business within itself, because at the end of the day, they have to continue their brand. That just now in our community has started, being a discussion, but it's always been.
It's always been
people of a certain economic level. Definitely.
They've been since ancient years. That's something they never left and won't.
Definitely since ancient, exactly since ancient years. Especially if you wanted your children to be able to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a space where that now we gotta be aware that there's going to be different entities, different spaces, and that to protect your energy, you got to create your own community, and that's the goal.
Definitely,
that's the goal right here. And you may call it poly, we might call it kingdoms, we might call it whatever. But the thing is that to protect our energy is in our community as a whole, as a culture, and this dates back before the United States was even established. This is stuff that's been around for eons, and now that it's being talked about, it needs to keep being talked about. Our relationships need to be better. Our sexuality need to be talked about. Our mental health need to be talked about. And this is just one thing that happens in our culture that definitely was experienced in our world, in our industry, but now it became out here. If they're putting everything else on the screen to be addressed, then we're going to talk about this too. Let's see if we can create some balance to this chaos and find a way to have a solution to it's not even a problem, just having a communication to a solution that it actually exists and that we're going to bring to the forefront. So the community is everything. And with that, I would like y'all to follow us on Instagram. It is a private page at Keys to the Bag Podcast, where you can follow us, join us. Make sure you follow us and get into our group right there at Keys to the Bag Show. And look, I ain't even about to play with y'all. Y'all about to see here. I'm about to shut up for 1 second. Make sure y'all comment below. Let's set some things happen and subscribe. Hit that notification. You know what it is. So, with that being said, hey, look, man, it's so much that we got in there, and we were just touching the surface. You feel me? We were just touching the surface.
We'll have to do a part 2 of this.
Yo, so if y'all want to comment below, make sure y'all follow us at Keys to the Bad Podcast on Instagram. Make sure y'all grab the book. This is the 18 guidelines and principles to be successful in any area. But off these guidelines, these are the lessons that I learned and applied in the exotic entertainment industry that now afforded me to basically become a author. I have authored 2 books, produced several podcasts, have 3 other businesses. Kat has now went on and published her own magazine. It's been syndicated on Side Chicks of Charlotte. You got to see her. You got to tap in.
Okay, then. Okay.
She's up and stuck. You feel me? Your boy Prince is out here doing his thing and encouraging the youth. Motivational speaker, as in here, got his clothing line, has his bartail line. You understand that we are not just regular entrepreneurs, we are exoticpreneurs. You feel me? So make sure y'all click the link, comment below if that's something that y'all want to get further into it. We can get that, open up the discussion. And with that being said, hey, Kat, what you got to tell to the people? Because all I want y'all to do is stay healthy. Let's get wealthy.
And we'll see you guys soon. Please tune in. I'm so happy for you guys. This is going to be we got so much for y'all. Just stay tuned.
You got it, Prince.
Hey, it's a vibe. That's the best way I can put it. It's a vibe. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. I hope we get y'all a full fulfillment experience. Hey, you know what it is? It's Keys to the Bag, and we're going to see for the next chapter. We're going to do a part 2. That's what you got to know.
Part 2, yes.
It's up and it's stuck. Stay healthy. Let's get wealthy.
See you soon.
Out.